Well, good evening, Richfield. How are we doing? Oh man, it's so good to see so many familiar faces out here. Thank you for making the time to come, and welcome to our 2026 Ridgefield State of the City. We're really glad you can join us. As we get started, I just want to thank everyone for being here, and I just want to mention that it's totally not lost on me that we're doing this on St. Patty's Day, and so thank you for joining us anyways and not being out doing St. Patty's Day things. But I will share just shamelessly that if you happen to find the pot of gold tonight, we are going to be kicking off a capital campaign for our recreation center. So if you do find that pot of gold, I'd appreciate a generous donation as a result, because it would happen on this night. But thank you for joining us. As we get started, I do want to thank the many volunteers who joined us at our open house earlier. You saw our boards and commissions. There's members of our planning commission. Where's our planning commission at? Are you guys here? They're sprinkled throughout here. Our parks board is here with us tonight. Our roundabout committee. Our youth commission, our brand new youth commission. And our neighbors on watch have all joined us tonight, and I hope you got a lot of good info. They were sharing about what you can do to get involved and what they're working on, so be sure to talk to them if you didn't already. But these are groups that represent hundreds of hours of service to our community, and we are grateful for the work that all of you do. Thank you so much for that, because we couldn't do what we do at the city without our boards and commissions. I also want to thank the Ridgefield School District and Dr. Jenny Rodriguez for hosting, giving us the venue for tonight. We have an incredible education organization here in Ridgefield, and so thank you for that. Thank you for being a good partner and joining us in the community. And I also want to just acknowledge our amazing city staff, our management team, our public works team, our communications team, all of the city staff, the people that you see day in and day out, and the people that you don't see. These are people who are doing just great stuff for our city and just making sure that it works and it stays working and all of that. And of course, I do want to call attention, acknowledge a few of our elected officials who had decided to join us this evening as well. We are always blessed to have leaders from around the region join us. And so I'd like to just name a few people. We have a couple members from our 20th legislative district here today. Representative Peter Abarno is here with us tonight, as well as Representative Ed Orcutt. Yes, please. We have Representative Sharon Wiley is here with us tonight. And from our Ridgefield School Board, Amber Baker is here with us tonight. From Clark Callis Fire and Rescue, we have Commissioner Larry Bartell and Commissioner Towner are with us tonight. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. From the Port of Ridgefield, we have Commissioner Joe Melroy is here with us tonight. And from the Clark Regional Wastewater District, we have Denny Kiggins and Dan Clark. And from Clark PUD, we have Commissioner Sari Erickson, who's joined us as well. Thank you all. Yes. And it's a whirlwind, you saw it out there, we were busy, but if I missed anybody, I do appreciate everybody joining us tonight. This is always a really big deal to us in Ridgefield, and it always means the world to us when we have support from our regional leaders too. So. Tonight's program is actually pretty simple. We're going to begin by recognizing some outstanding members of our community with our 4th annual Make a Difference Awards. And after that, I'm going to invite our city council members up, and they're going to each share some highlights of the work that's been happening across the city over the past year, and we'll close out talking about where we're going next. But as we kick off the evening, this is my favorite part. We get to celebrate the people, the organizations who are doing the real work just to take care of people, to take care of our community, and we get to honor a few of those tonight. So at this time, I would like to invite my colleagues on the Ridgefield City Council to join me up on stage as we begin the Make a Difference Awards. I'm going to introduce them all. Please welcome Mayor Pro Tem Judy Chipman is here with us this evening. We have councilors Lee Wells, Clyde Burkle, Katie Favela is here with us tonight, Ryan Davis, and Megan Hamilton. Come on up. I gotta say, we joke all the time that we have the best city council in the area, but I really do believe it. We have such a great working relationship, and I'm proud of the work we do together. And these are 6 other people who are really, really committed to their community, to their city, and making sure that we make sure that we take care of the policy and the budget issues that affect you in your everyday lives. And so thank you again for the work that you all do. It's an honor to serve with you. Okay. Yes, absolutely. I want to say a few words about our Make a Difference Awards. Like I said, this is now our 4th year that we've had the opportunity to present these awards as a part of our State of the City. And each year, it reminds us that something pretty special is happening here in Ridgefield. These awards are an opportunity for us to pause for a moment and recognize the people and organizations who quietly do the work that makes this community what it is. These are people who volunteer their time, who step up for their neighbors, who care deeply about this place, and they invest in it themselves into it. This year, I'm also excited to add a new element to the Make a Difference Awards. We present them with a few goodies here, but for the first time, we're presenting our winners with the challenge coin. We have a brand new challenge coin. It's a Mayor's Challenge coin. This is a small token of our appreciation that we're going to give to them it's just to honor their spirit of service. This is a tradition that starts out of the military. I'm a Navy vet, and so this was some kind of a big deal, and something I wanted to bring to the city here. So it just is a way to recognize public service. So we'll be presenting everyone who wins tonight with a coin as well. So, okay, are we ready to get this thing underway? What do you say? Okay. Oh, and before we begin, I do want to thank everybody in the community. I know many people here who submits nominations for the Make a Difference Awards. We receive a ton of different nominations, and it's actually overwhelming because there's so many people in this community who are doing so many good things. And so your nominations help us see just how many people in this community are showing up day in and day out and making a difference. And so tonight, we just get to celebrate a few of them. Our first segment is our individual award segment. Each year, we receive nominations from people who give their time and their talent and who and a whole lot of heart to Ridgefield. Tonight, we have 3 outstanding individuals whose contributions have helped shape this community in meaningful ways, namely over the past year. So let's get things started with our individual awards, and let me introduce them. Our first finalist tonight is Jan Haig. Jan was nominated for her decades of service. Yes, please. You're going to want to do that again after I get through her nomination because it's pretty stellar. Jan was nominated for her decades of service and involvement across Ridgefield. She has been a regular volunteer and supporter of many organizations, including the Ridgefield Family Resource Center, Compassion 360, Friends of the Ridgefield National Wildlife Refuge, the Ridgefield Lions Club, the 4th of July Committee, the Ridgefield Art Association, Chiroptimus International, Friends of the Ridgefield Community Library, and many more. And you know that when you have to take a breath when you're reading all those organizations, that's somebody who is really showing up for the community. So Jan's name comes up often when people talk about the quiet work that we do here that strengthens community. So everyone, once again, please give it up for Jan. Our second finalist this evening is a good friend of mine, is Bridget Taylor. Bridget was nominated for her deep involvement in Ridgefield as her role as a community advocate. She currently serves as chair of our Parks Board and is also known by many families as a teacher at Union Ridge Elementary School. And through her classroom and her leadership, she brings people together and helps young residents feel connected to community that they grow up in. So please give it up for Bridget. And our third and final finalist tonight is Mrs. Kathy Winters. Kathy has been a prominent and beloved figure in Ridgefield for many, many years. The nominations highlighted her work across multiple nonprofit organizations, her time spent reading with children, painting, and helping to enrich community spaces throughout the city. And Kathy's contributions go back even further. She was also very instrumental in the fundraising effort that helped build our new Ridgefield Community Library that's now a few years old. And most recently, in 2025, Kathy played a key role in helping bring the Ridgefield Art Association Gallery into reality. something that many people in this community have hoped to see for a long time. So give it up for Kathy as well. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to invite you to watch a video with me. It's a short video to reveal the 2026 Make a Difference Award individual winner. Let's take a look.
I moved to Ridgefield in 2003. My daughter and her family had moved down here, and I used to come and babysit with the boys. I told her, if that house next to you ever goes up for sale, we'd like to buy it. Sure enough, it did. We bought it, we moved down here. And before I came, I went to the Flower and Garden Show in Seattle and told the master gardener people there exhibiting that I was moving to Ridgefield and I was looking for a garden club. Well, longtime Ridgefield people will know that at that time, the garden club was very exclusive and they only accepted a few people. Well, I got in. I took over a lot of my daughter's volunteer activities because she went back to work. And so I got to know a lot of people, worked on the development of Overlook Park, and just kept doing things. Ridgefield has changed a lot of more people here, and there's good and bad to that. We're trying to keep the downtown area quaint, open, walkable, and mom and pop type businesses, no commercial businesses. The new people are a blessing in many ways because they bring so much to us, ideas of things that have worked in other places, vitality. Well, back when I was 75, I thought I need a project, and I did a project to raise $7,500. We decided on Oncology Youth Connection, which is a cancer program to take kids that have graduated, gotten done with cancer, but have no support system. We raised $5,600. So then I turned 80. Well, I turned 79, and I thought I need something. This is another decade. So I thought we'll do 80 for 80. With the help of Tevis Laspa, who worked with me, we raised $80,000 by November. And I said, we'll go to 100. Well, everybody laughed. We were a small town 10 years ago. We raised 102,000. Then 85 came up and I needed another project, and I said, I'll donate 10% if we raise $5,000. We raised that for a tea cell in the library, in the Ellie Woodage room. And then, well, here came 90, and I needed a new project. I was going to raise $90,000 for the Y, but that fell through. So I thought I'll cut it down to $9,000 for the art gallery. We raised 13, and actually I have another 1,000 I think that I'm going to get. I love this town. It's so special. We have so much going for us, the waterfront, the kayak place. I mean, where could you work and run down and kayak on your lunch hour? All the food carts here downtown, they're a treasure. This is a wonderful place to live. And lastly, the art gallery, which is a real treasure. People are so excited to see us here, and we're so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Would you please welcome your 2026 Make a Difference Award winner, Kathy Winters. Kathy, come on up.
All I want to say is, as my daughter says, I have FOMO. Fear of missing out. Darn it, I see something and it's fun and it's exciting, and so I get involved.
You see why this is my favorite part of the union, right? Just these incredible stories that we get to tell. And we get to do it once more. Next, we're going to be honored to shine a spotlight on several organizations whose dedication and service truly embody the spirit of community. These are groups who work to strengthen the fabric of our city, often behind the scenes, and whose impact reaches far beyond what most people see day to day. So our first finalist tonight is a newcomer. It's Red Barn Chess Club. So last year, the K-12 chess program was launched here in Ridgefield, and it has already grown to more than 60 students. The program is offered completely free and kids and has quickly become a place where young people can build confidence, sharpen their thinking, and connect with others. And in April, every student of the program was invited to attend the state championships on a full scholarship, ensuring that every participant had the opportunity to compete and represent Ridgefield. So give it up for the Red Barn Chess Club. Our second finalist this evening is the Ridgefield Art Association. The Art Association has long been the creative force in our community. Their members help bring public art and murals to life, partner with the city on cultural programs, and work closely with the Ridgefield School District to support Youth Arts Month, which many of you may be enjoying in town right about now. There's actually an event that happened this afternoon. And in 2025, they helped establish the Ridgefield Art Gallery in the old hardware store downtown, creating a vibrant new cultural space and a valuable community asset for our residents and visitors alike. Give it up for the Ridgefield Art Association. And our final nominee tonight is Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Neighbors, as we call it, is an organization that operates as a food bank just south of the city limits and serves hundreds of people every month in the 98642 area code. Their work supports families in our community, including more than 100 students in the Ridgefield School District who are currently experiencing homelessness or unstable housing. Neighbors Helping Neighbors provides food boxes, essential household supplies like laundry soap and hygiene products, and each year they organize the Giving Tree program to help ensure families in need have gifts for their children during the holiday season. Now let's take a moment to watch a short video to reveal the 2026 Organizational Make a Difference Award winner. Let's take a look.
Neighbors Helping Neighbors is a food bank in Ridgefield, Washington, and it's been around since 1982. We serve Ridgefield, La Center, Salmon Creek, and Philida, and anybody comes from wherever. If they need a food box, they can stop by and get a food box, so we're not going to turn anybody away. And we have clothing for people and small household items that they can come in and get when those are donated. We started because there were the need to feed people. They saw that their neighbors were hungry and they needed help, and so that's why we started the food bank. It grew from being like 20-some food boxes to 98 food boxes not too long ago. And we usually do anywhere from 64 to 76 food boxes on a Tuesday from 10 until 12:30. Rosars is a partner. When they first came in, before the store was even finished, the main manager from Spokane came and met with me, and then I brought Chris on board. She is from the Resource Center because I knew she needed food too. So we share the weeks up at Rosars, and the food is wonderful. And then Costco came around, so we get food on Monday, and they love it because it's coming from all over the store, and it's food that, you know, people wouldn't be able to buy. They can't go into Costco and buy that food, so it's makes a big difference. The Giving Tree is the parents come in, I have them sign out a form. They tell me the ages of their children, all the things that their kids need, and then I get a little list together and I make that go out to the agencies who are going to help those children receive those gifts. And then they come back, I place it with the parents, they come pick it up for Christmas with their food box, and they have their gifts and their Christmas food. Makes me feel happy that I can help kids have Christmas that wouldn't get Christmas. And these moms will tell me they would not have a Christmas if it wasn't for us helping them. We have two ladies who work here that are chaplains. A person from, I believe it was from our church in Woodland, gave her a vehicle to give to a homeless person who needed a car. And so she was able to get a car, and then she was able from that car get a job and then get an apartment, and now she's not homeless anymore. That's how we made a difference in that lady's life.
Thank you. Please give it up, as you already are, for our 2026 Organizational Make a Difference Award winner, Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Come on down. Is Pam here? Here.
Tell everybody thank you so much for all your help, or we couldn't have this place happen. So, thank you.
Once again, I want to thank all of the organizations, all of the individuals, all of the people who showed up to nominate our Somebody for a Make a Difference Award. This is always just a great way to recognize people who are doing outstanding work in our community. So can we give it up one more time? Thank you. Okay, we got a busy program ahead for you. We have some, we're gonna go into the State of the City portion of our evening. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna invite a couple of council members up, and they're gonna speak to different portions of the evening. And so first tonight, we're gonna showcase how we've been busy all in the last year and the work that we've been doing on behalf of our residents here. So first, I would like to welcome to the stage Councilor Clyde Burkle and Councilor Megan Hamilton for our community engagement portion of the program. Please welcome, come on up.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Councilor Burkle.
Thank you, Councilmember Megan Hamilton. I appreciate being here with you.
I appreciate being here with you as well. So it is so nice to see such a great turnout tonight. It truly speaks to the heart of Ridgefield. Time and time again, we show up. So 2025 really felt like a year of showing up for us. And so we want to talk to you about how we as council connected with the community throughout the year. And Mr. Burkle.
I would just like to personally thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here this evening to celebrate our city, Ridgefield.
Yes.
I'd just like to give a few comments here regarding City Council. You probably know we meet the second and fourth Thursday of every month, with the exception of November and December when we go to the first and the third. I encourage all of you to sometime take time and come down and witness one of our council meetings. I think you'll be very, very impressed with what goes on. If you are unable to come and visit, you could do it online via Zoom. Now, during our council meetings, we have two opportunities for citizens to get up and make public comment. And I just want to make a quick reference to a citizen that arrived last Thursday and had a legitimate complaint about a missing traffic sign. He got up before the council, told us about it. Our city manager immediately responded, and the following morning, that missing traffic control sign was replaced. But had that citizen not come forward, not stepped up during city council and let us know about it, we may not have known. So I invite you all to attend one of our city council meetings.
Yes, we love to have people there. Oh, thank you. We love seeing your faces and hearing your feedback. So genuinely, please look into coming to a meeting. Another thing that we did to try to engage with the community is called council chats. So we hosted 4 council chats in everyday community spaces: the Neighborhood Refuge, the Big Paddle, Rosars, and Seasons. So these are informal settings for the community members to ask questions, share concerns, talk to. Usually there's a pair of us there, and we just welcome any question, conversation you want to have, and we love to engage and hear what's actually going on in the community from your voice. And we also did something called City Days. So this is at our August 1st Saturday event. We have a council booth there that we encourage you to come and talk to us as well.
We also, during this past summer, had a number of events in 3 different neighborhoods. We were in Clover Hill, Greeley Farms, and Pioneer Canyon. It was very enjoyable to be getting out into the community where residents live and meet them one-on-one. And by golly, I'll never forget how many hot dogs we cooked at Greeley Farms.
All right, so of course our work would be so much harder without the dedicated volunteers that help shape Ridgefield's future. I hope you all got a chance to connect with them before the program tonight. They dedicate their time and expertise to important topics each year. So we have the Roundabout Commission. I brought that one up first. I'm sorry, my fiance is on that one. So it came to mind first. It's not even first on my card. Planning Commission, Parks Board, Roundabout Committee, Civil Service Commission, and our Youth Commission. And I'd invite any of you guys to stand up so we can recognize you for your volunteerism. Thank you for helping to shape our community.
Just a few I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, let's dive into exactly what the boards and commissions do.
Just a few comments on our Planning Commission. They were busy, very, very busy this past season working on the comprehensive plan called Envision Ridgefield 2045, establishing goals and policies. They made recommendations on land use, housing, economic development, transportation, and climate, providing valuable input on development code amendments that improve our process and ensure the best possible outcome for the community.
And so what are they going to do in 2026? They're going to continue to work with Envision Ridgefield, leading council's adoption of a vision for how we're going to grow over the next 20 years. They're going to update provisions for critical area protections and help work on a downtown sub-area plan.
Roundabout Committee. Ridgefield has a reputation for roundabouts. We have 9 currently, and we have 6 more planned for the near future. To help the council plan for these roundabouts, we created the Roundabout Committee. In 2025, the committee came up with the design for our new roundabout at Discovery Drive and Pioneer, and this is the one that features the metal sculptures. Just a little side comment. During the process of this metal sculpture, AIG decided, hey, let's go to the high school and see if we can get some students from the welding class to come out and work on the sculpture. They came out from the high school, they welded everything up. So what you see was welded by high school students here in Ridgefield. And I think one really neat little sidelight, 2 of those students upon graduation will have jobs at AIG. I think that's just, for me, it's Ridgefield, absolutely.
All right, so what's next for the Roundabout Committee? Compiling a history of Ridgefield's roundabout for the city website, and they're going to be finalizing a recommended design of the South Royal Road, South Wells roundabout for the artwork and the landscaping.
Parks Board. Our roundabouts have become a really unique landmark in Ridgefield. Another space we're seeing that is really remarkable in our parks are our parks, where the developers of each neighborhood are required to set back and save 25% of the property to be trails, parks, and open space. And I think that's one of the really unique and wonderful factors and features about Ridgefield. What did the parks do in 2025? They adopted a park and trail design standard to ensure the spaces being constructed, whether by city or developer, meet the needs of our community. We also did something really unique. We appointed a youth to our Parks Board. I think we're probably, I may be wrong, but I think we're the only community in the county that has a youth on our Parks Board. So just another, what I think makes Ridgefield what it is.
Absolutely. So what's the Parks Board going to do in 2026? They're going to start a scheduled update of the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan, which is also known as the PROS Plan. The PROS Plan focuses on goals for parks, trails, and recreational facilities. This includes an inventory of current parks and trails and their condition, a needs assessment, and a 6-year program plus implementation strategies. And throughout the process, the city will be asking for the community for your input to help shape what we look like for years to come. The next thing I'm really excited to talk to you guys about is the Youth Commission. The Youth Commission has been such a touching addition to our commission for the council. I think I can speak for all of us and say it's been so incredibly impressive and so incredibly impactful to watch these students really dive in and their confidence and their intentionality in what they're doing. So the involvement of a youth member on the Parks Board was so successful that we decided that we wanted to bring more youth into the government. So in the fall, we created and appointed the first Ridgefield Youth Commission. This is a group of 8th to 12th graders talking about a very important issue impacting youth in our community, which is e-bikes. We just heard an update from them at council last week, which was incredible. And we would love to hear more from these young residents about what this opportunity has meant for them.
I was interested in the Youth Commission because it was a great opportunity for me to grow my skills in communication and in leadership and just understanding how government works if I ever want to go into it in the future. And I just love getting to meet new people and be a good face for our community.
I really wanted to have more of a direct impact on the community around me, so I thought that becoming the first youth representation on Parks Board would help me do that. Plus, I like to learn more about how to collaborate with my community members and different groups of people. What surprised me is how much time and focus goes into making the decisions and how many factors there are that go towards change. It also surprises me in a great way how many people really care about their parks and their other public utilities.
It was surprising to me how much I have in common with other youth in our community, especially because we work with middle schoolers and high schoolers, so it's a wide range of ages, and I just wasn't expecting that we would all kind of have the same views. And it was also surprising to me that we all care so deeply about this issue and how our youth is going to turn out. Right now, our issue is electric bicycles and e-scooters and how people are riding them, their safety, and how to prevent crashes and hurting people in the long run. So our biggest issue has been trying to figure out something that is going to work for everyone, which we know that it's not, and that's something else I've learned here, is that we can't please everyone, and there isn't going to be one correct and perfect plan.
I really want to become involved when I go to college and graduate. No matter where I end up, I want to become as involved as possible in that city. I would love to help make change in other areas and learn about other cities and how they make change with their youth and help impact that more. I just really encourage everyone to go out and use their voices, talk to people, try to get as involved as possible, especially youth. Your age does not define your ability to make impact, so try to start early and go make changes that you want to see happen.
I think that everyone should try to get involved as best they can, and if that means joining government for them, then that means joining government. And I think everyone should apply at some point, if you're youth, to be a part of a commission like this and to learn how your voice can make an impact on others and how to stand up for yourself.
The work of these young residents is going to have such an amazing impact on our community spaces. And speaking of, we got to celebrate a great new unique space for recreation in October.
I'd like to talk about one of our newest parks, Boyce Park. For those of you who are unfamiliar with it, it's a 9-acre park located at 905 North 32nd Avenue. It was built with a master plan driven by community input developed in 2023. We celebrated phase 1 completion, and it's a really unique park. It features a 4,200 square foot pump track. You know what a pump track is? It's a track on which kids can ride their bicycles, improving their skills, and becoming masters at the pump track. This is a unique space for our kids and youth, and I also understand there is the potential, I say potential, I'm not going to use it, the jump track is coming. I'll respectfully not do it.
Respectfully
And
decline.
we are actively pursuing grants to bring the rest of this master plan to life.
The next park we're going to talk about is Storybook Hollow Park. We're getting ready to celebrate this park opening just a little north of Boyce within the Paradise Point subdivision. Storybook Hollow Park is an 18-acre community park dedicated to the city by the developers of Paradise Point. It's a community-led master plan as well, and in phase 1, which is just wrapping up, features a nature playground with a hill slide, a one-of-a-kind bug play structure, and other whimsical elements lending to its name of Storybook Hollow. Future phases will expand upon the nature-centered park by supporting wildlife viewing, walking trails, and more.
I'd now like to talk about what I think is going to be the absolute center of Ridgefield, and that will be our new community center and recreation center. These spaces will be built side by side, and as Ridgefield grows, one community we need is we're actively working to meet the building community hub by providing the space for recreation, connection, and belonging. We're going to have 2 separate centers connected, a recreation center and a community center. The facility will include 2 pools, a lap pool and a family-friendly pool, an indoor gym, indoor track, cardio and weightlifting training equipment, a locker room, a teaching kitchen, and a teen gaming room.
The surrounding area will retain a natural park-like setting and a multi-use trail. Construction is expected to begin summer 2026.
Thank you, and once again, I appreciate each and every one of you taking time to come and listen to us this evening so we can share with you what we are actively and collectively working on to make Ridgefield this very, very special community. Thank you.
Agreed. So now we're going to hand it over to Councilors Ryan Davis and Councilor Lee Wells.
Well, good evening.
Yeah. Same here. Good evening. Mr. Davis thought I forgot my cheat sheets, but I'm an individual. I can't turn around and work without them. I usually sit behind the scenes and a quiet mouse in the end, so you're going to have to just put up with me tonight. Okay, Mr. Davis, you are going to talk about our road infrastructure.
Yeah.
Lead the way.
Yeah, sure thing. So building a system that connects the people of Ridgefield to the people they want to visit, the places they need to go, and to access the services they need is of the utmost importance for us. At the junction with Interstate 5, these efforts are supported by the tax increment area. Now, this is an investment in infrastructure for future development of living wage, employment, and desired services. The first big TIA investment just wrapped up, which was the Pioneer Widening, a huge improvement in multimodal access and connectivity on our main road, and a way for us to sort of test everybody's tolerance for road shutdowns and stuff like that. Just kidding, just kidding. But you can see how far we have come from a two-lane entrance from our city to the grand wide road that we have now. So major construction began in summer of 2024 and wrapped up in December of 2025. It has had already a huge impact on our community, and we appreciate everyone's patience. So now let's learn a little bit more about this project and something that Councilor Burkle already touched on, and we'll dive a little deeper in.
In the city of Ridgefield, as many people I'm sure know, we only had one lane each direction coming in and out of the city on Pioneer. This project expanded that to 2 lanes each direction. It also allowed us to put in a multimodal trail, which is for a separation between non-motorized traffic and motorized traffic, which really helps the safety. So Pioneer and Discovery Drive roundabout, so that one's really cool. So we were able to work with a local metal fabrication company here in Ridgefield, AIG, and they teamed up with the Ridgefield Metal Technology class, and they actually brought the students into their shop, AIG shop, to actually do the fabrication of the artwork that's in the roundabout itself, which is a really unique opportunity. We hadn't done that before.
So the city reached out to Jim Buchan, who is the owner here, and then he handed it off to me. We went and I reached out to Chris Ship, who is the welding teacher over at the high school, and asked him if he was interested, and he said he would be. So I went over there, met with him, then met with the class, explained kind of the situation of what we're gonna do, and we took it from there.
I've been in a few big fab shops before, but that was definitely a whole other level. It was crazy just seeing everyone work together, seeing all the different stations. This is one of the biggest shops I've ever been in, and going there was 3-4 times bigger, and it was honestly mind-blowing. It was pretty crazy. Me and Quinn were working at it. I was doing a lot of the tacks, a lot of the full-length welds. Everyone kind of seemed bored sitting in the corner. I was like, well, we're here. Might as well do it. I already like welding, and I know if I do it, it can be something I'm proud of every day, seeing it driving home from school. And yeah, I just went to work, did it.
They taught me how to go in the right direction and not to put my face too close so I get smoke up in my face, and just told me where to weld along a certain part. Yeah, seeing other friends drive past it and say, that's a really cool sculpture, and I was like, to say I helped build that was really cool, yeah.
I've had comments from friends who know I'd been on the trip or had talked about the structure, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I helped build that, and it's always super cool to hear people talking about it, because a lot of people I've talked to really enjoy the structure and think it's super cool.
We're extremely happy with it. I mean, it was a great experience for us, and I assume them. We had a great time doing it, and to see it stand up there, it's a great accomplishment.
Absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna hand it off to you, Councilor Wells.
Thank you, Brian. Our next major project after the Pioneer Street widening will be the 10th, 11th Street overpass. The overpass will go from Tim Road and 11th Street, which is right next to Par Lumber. It will actually go across the freeway to turn around and put our two I want to say employment zones together. It was put on the regional transportation map 25 years ago. Mary Leggerly listened to us at a workshop, and she drew it, and so it's finally coming to fruition. Got the word out. In 2026, we do the design and engineering work to get it closer to construction, which we expect to start by 2030 of having that overpass in that will help alleviate a lot of the traffic on the Pioneer Street overpass and give people an opportunity that wanted to go to the east side or go to Battleground rather than use our interstate interchange.
Yeah. It'll be just a nice loop for us to be able to have as well and give people another option to avoid the one that we have right now. So looking forward to that. Well, we do have some more recent news to share on the transportation front, and that is that we have secured $2 million in federal funding, thanks to advocacy from U.S. Senator Patty Murray, to go towards our Royal Road Corridor Improvement Project. So this is a critical investment that will help advanced safety improvements along Royal Road. And it's going to be on top of $8.4 million $8.4 million between grants as well as $2.4 million in contributions that came from developers through their impact fees. So we have over $10 million now in outside money coming in to help support building out that corridor. So these investments significantly reduce the financial burden for Ridgefield taxpayers while accelerating improvements to essential infrastructure. So design is currently underway for the southernmost segment between Hayfield Circle and Hillhurst Road, as well as for the G Creek Culvert replacement. Construction on these segments is anticipated for 2027. And as we move south, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
To talk about I-5.
Our next project is the Ridgefield South access to I-5. It's going to be our pressure relief valve. It's kind of like you got a hot water tank in your house, but it's got a pressure relief valve. If it gets overheated, it turns around and allows the extra pressure to escape. That's what we need for South goes. It's been in plans officially for the city since 2007. But there were members of the community that went before Clark County back in 2000 and wrote letters in 2000 to turn around and have this put on the map. In 2019, we got $250,000 in funds from Washington State Corridor Study. 2021, conducted the corridor study. Then everything went dark. COVID. It just fell off the radar screen, and we were just trying to tread water and survive. In 2025, we received $275,000 from the Washington Department of Transportation. I got agriculture on my mind. Plus 41,000 more from the general fund. And to complete the alternative analysis and select a preferred route and conduct environmental study in 2026. So we're moving forward. It'll be a while before it's done, but we're moving forward for that pressure relief valve.
Well,
okay, Ryan?
You brought up water, and that's a perfect segue for us to talk about our water infrastructure. So water is both a finite and essential resource. So in Ridgefield, taking care of our environment is important. And to reflect that commitment, we implemented a water conservation strategy in 2025. In it, we asked all residents to be mindful of their water use and to make adjustments based on community demand. So in the summer, the average family, their use skyrockets from about 200 gallons a day to more than 500 gallons a day due to irrigation. So with our efforts, we've asked the community to adjust those irrigation habits to value conservation and care for our local environment. And it worked. Over the summer, we were able to reduce community water use by over 20 million gallons compared to the previous summer. I think that deserves a round of applause right there. So in addition, go for it.
Yeah, and I was going to add on top of you there, Ryan, is Ridgefield doesn't have to worry about running out of water because we have, excuse me, I got to.
Bless you. They always come in threes. They always come in threes, right? You're just waiting. He's just waiting.
Hold it down. We have an intertie with Clark County Public Water, and so if we do run short, we can open the valve.
Absolutely.
And get water from them.
The interlocal, yeah. So in addition to practicing conservation, we do have several capital projects in progress that will add water to our supply and storage. The first big one is going to be the East Side Elevated Water Reservoir. It is going to be 2.5 million gallons elevated, as you can see in the picture, and it'll meet water storage needs for current and future demand through 2045 and provide consistent water pressure. Construction will begin in 2026.
The next thing on the horizon is, whoops, I lost it. We have a Kennedy well field, and it's out on Hillhurst where Kennedy Farms was. The city has acquired their water rights, and we're in the process of drilling a 10-inch well there and putting the infrastructure in for pumps and station and that for it. And that well is supposed to produce about 800,000 gallons an hour.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I think,
a lot
about
going
on. And I did have one other thing hot off the press. It's going to go back up to the road infrastructure in the real near future. Let's see, who is it? Oh, it's Discovery Drive.
Oh, yeah.
Discovery Drive is going to be opening, I think, this week.
Okay.
And that is the road that comes from 11th Wells Drive back for Pac Trust. Discovery Drive is where the roundabout is on Pioneer Street, where it goes to the north, but there's nothing going to the south yet. But we're starting to put infrastructure in, different pieces with different developments. Discovery Drive will go south all the way to the city's limits, and it's only 5/8 of a mile to Carty Road. And it will tie into the I-5 South Road that goes off of Hillhurst out to the freeway, Battleground Highway. So that's in the future. And there are segments of it being built right now. To keep everybody from having to go out on the freeway, you'll have a north-south route, just like 10th Avenue is on the east side of the city.
Absolutely. Well, it's been great sharing some of our updates with transportation and water. It seems like those are areas where we make leaps and bounds every single year. And so it was nice to be able to share that update with everybody alongside you there, Councilor Wells.
And I appreciate everybody being here this evening too. It's really great to see the participation of citizens in our community.
For sure. Well, next up, I want to introduce Councilwoman Katie Favela, as well as Mayor Pro Tem Judy Chipman.
I brought my water with me.
That was my water.
We're going to talk about smart growth and
Public safety.
Yeah. So I'll start out talking about the smart growth. So as most of you know, the city has been working through a project to update our comprehensive plan. And a lot of you have been involved in it through meetings that we've had, that you've taken part in, and we really appreciate you coming to all those meetings and working with us. This process involved getting community input about what you value in our community and what you would like to see Ridgefield look like in 20 years, which is a hard thing to do. I mean, who knows what we would want it to look like, but you came and talked with us, and the county is wanting us to do this, and we are trying to get that finished. We identified a community vision that values maintaining a small town with charm and a sustainable growth and infrastructure maintenance, a commitment to community health and well-being, and embracing equity and inclusion, and preserving and enhancing our natural areas, corridors, trails, and our scenic landscapes. While we're required to accommodate growth, we're focusing it where the services can support it and preserving the integrity of our existing neighborhoods. That vision has been used to create a set of policies that we will adopt later this year to guide our future growth. One of the ways we're guiding that growth is by intentionally creating different zones across our city. At the junction, we have large regional commerce. Think of Costco, and then across the freeway, we're hoping to have some type of a large home improvement project, such as one of the home improvement stores, perhaps. And as you travel along Pioneer, there are mixed-use hubs accommodating a variety of housing, essential services, and grocery retail. There's several apartment buildings, there's new apartments going in, there's a grocery outlet store going in, and thank goodness we have Rosar's in Ridgefield now for the last several years so we can get groceries here. We have a new car wash, and Kinder Carriage was just built. So many new things have come, which makes our life so much easier. We can do so many things here in Ridgefield without having to leave Ridgefield. And in downtown, we're preserving the historical, local business focus. This creates distinct pockets for different activities and businesses. It preserves our small town feel while creating spaces for quality jobs and brings valuable services within our city. We're also prioritizing access to nature. It is part of our identity and community values. As was said earlier, within our code, developers have to dedicate at least 25% of our site areas to common open space. And they talked about some of the parks, and they're going to show some of the parks. I think one of the things that some of us don't realize is that those parks are open to anyone that lives in the city. Just because it's not in your neighborhood doesn't mean that you can't take your family to that park in a different neighborhood and enjoy the amenities that that park offers us. Those parks are open to everyone, which is a really great thing. This ensures that parks, trails, and our shared outdoor spaces are built into our neighborhoods from the start. We're balancing housing with livability and maintaining the characteristics that draw people to Ridgefield. which is our access to natural spaces. A lot of cities do not have what we have with that 25%. Now we're going to watch our neighborhood park video.
Ridgefield's really unique in the fact that they have this thing, so if you think of every 4 acres, Ridgefield sets aside one of those 4 acres for the community to have green space, parks, or trails. And it allows community to connect, and it allows kids places to play and community members to come together.
Ridgefield's done such a wonderful job incorporating parks and open spaces. When it comes to compare to other communities in Clark County, Ridgefield is just meets and bounds above any other community in my opinion. It's when our clients are looking into other areas, they keep coming back to Ridgefield, and mainly for the parks and the open spaces.
Parks are really important to me. Not only am I a community member, and I'm an educator in the downtown area. And so I think my favorite park of all in the neighborhoods is probably Davis Park. It's not only a place that I've taken my kids since they're little from the time they're in a wagon, it's also a place I can walk my class. It's across the street from our library. It's close to our police station. It's just a place where a lot of our community comes together. People come from all over to come to that neighborhood park. It's really important to be able to have people come together and have connectivity in our community and having green space. And so Ridgefield has done a really good job creating these spaces so people can do that, to have the space to have people come together and be connected.
Being a 5th generation Ridgefield resident, I've lived here my whole life, and I've seen just from open farms and berry fields to now what's surround us with these wonderful communities. Just the planning that has gone into that. It's truly a great experience to see the growth and the connectivity to the community.
I just look forward to the future Ridgefield and what each developer decides to do with the land, with the extra 25% that they have to either make green space or parks or trails with. It's such a cool opportunity to give back to your community. I mean, really, community is all about coming together, and I think it's really cool to have that opportunity. That's how we grow, and to see that that's what Ridgefield has made a priority, is growing together, is really powerful. So I feel lucky to live here in Ridgefield.
As you can see, this is how we ensure Ridgefield remains a place that so many people love to work, live, and play. Another critical component to maintaining Ridgefield's livability as we grow is public safety. Councilor Favela, how are we ensuring public safety?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. You know, before I say that, just being able to go last and listen to all the things that we're doing in Ridgefield is really important to me. You know, I'm a social worker, and social workers, we look at holistic view of community health, and that starts in the community with prevention and healthy communities. And when you have strong infrastructure for your families to get their needs met and to have open spaces and to have a good education system, that becomes a protective factor for them, and it's huge. So I'm really excited about that. And protective factors is also public safety. I'm honored to be a part of a council that prioritizes public safety. In the last year, we adopted a public safety sales tax that went into effect January 1st. This sales tax is a 0.1% that will go directly to our police department. So as we grow, we have continual funding for any new officers that we need to bring on board. It helps train and give them the equipment that they need to do the job and serve the community well. This year, we are going to bring in 2 additional officers, which is going to be great. It helps with response times. It helps ensure that that community engagement that you all love to have, you know, at our August, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on that, National Night Out. Thank you so much.
National Night Out.
Yeah, making sure that we can make these events possible and that we can continue that engagement while also protecting the community at the same time. In the last year, we also worked with RPD to make sure that they had the tools that they needed. With huge officer support, we brought in body-worn cameras, in-vehicle cameras, and then we also went fully digital with our digital evidence systems. And this helps build that trust and transparency. It makes sure that incidents are documented correctly and fairly. And with that full digital evidence storage, it can be shared quickly with courts or other partner agencies or even the community when requested. Now, I want to highlight our, quite literally now, volunteer program, our Neighbors on Watch. Could I have them stand up over here? Thank you. Our Now volunteer program is an arm of our police department, and they really do play a critical role in that engagement and community piece. Our officers cannot be everywhere all the time, so for them to be in the neighborhood, really eyes on, engaging with the community, and being able to identify any potential safety concern or any suspicious activity, they can get that reported to our officers. And they also help our community events. You'll notice them, they do have a uniform that they wear whenever they're volunteering, and you get to see them many different places. And I really appreciate you all being here tonight before the event to help engage with the community and highlight the work that you do. It is greatly appreciated. Another key component to public safety is our partnership with the Clark Cowlitz Fire Department. Oh, this is the best day. We're going to get to that. We're so grateful for a healthy relationship with our local fire department. They provide EMS response as well as the CARES program. The CARES program is actually the only healthcare authority endorsed crisis response program that we have in Clark County. That is huge, and if you're in the world of mental health, you know how critical this co-responder program is. For those of you who are not familiar with the CARES program, it's a co-responder model to help reduce unnecessary emergency room visits for people who are experiencing mental health and behavioral health. They have a paramedic and a therapist, clinician visit the home and help provide resources. It's not only for mental health and behavioral health. There are also high utilizers that they can send out to help get connected to resources so we're not utilizing the emergency room unnecessarily and really get those valuable resources in the home to the community members who need them most. Last year, Clark Cowlitz Fire Department brought in 3 new ambulances to serve in the community, which is huge. The fire department does high priority calls, which helps us make sure that when we call 911 and there is a critical incident, we don't have to wait for an ambulance to come from the other side of Clark County to get to you all. They're local, and that response time in an emergency is critical. So very thankful that they were able to do that. Part of a mitigation plan with the fire department, the city has purchased land for the fire department to build a new fire department on the west side of the freeway. So this will also, yes, that is really exciting. Really thankful to have that. That will also increase response times, and as we grow, it will help them with their growth as well. And with the partnership, we'll talk about the fire. So the city owned a piece of property that had a structure on it that needed to be demolished. So we reached out to the Clark Cowlitz Fire Department and said, hey, do you want this to use as a training burn for the department so you can get out there? And they were 100% on board with that. But in turn, they invited Mayor Cole and I to participate in this fire burn. So my husband, who is a firefighter, made me this gorgeous pink fire helmet. I think it's the only one. I've never seen one like it. And we were able to go and participate in this burn. Chief Knorr was so knowledgeable and incredible, walking us through all the starts of the fire, how it starts, what smoke looks like. It was really thrilling and educating. They had the cadets there, so it was awesome to bring the cadets from the high school in to see like what this training burn is. And Mayor Cole, before the training burn, we got fitted for our gear, and we're at the fire and we're like ready to get in our gear, and I go up to Mayor and I'm so excited, and he's like stiff standing there, and I'm like, are you good? And he's like, this is a little bit tighter than what I thought. Let's go. And I'm like swimming in mine, and I'm like, well, I'm fine. We quickly realized that we had each other's. So once we got switched out and we were comfortable, we were ready to go. So we had a great time. I really appreciated the whole day. I appreciate this community so much. And when John Rose was speaking about, as a realtor, people wanting to come back to Ridgefield as they're looking for houses, I relate to that. My son is in the military, and he recently was home visiting, and Sunday morning I was driving him to the airport, and he's kind of talked about, maybe not coming back to Ridgefield, and we don't like that. But on the way to the airport, he said, Mom, when I'm done, I'm coming home. I want to be in Ridgefield, and very thankful for that. But I think it just goes to show this community is so special, and even when our kids leave to go to college or the military, whatever they're doing, the fact that they want to come back and be here is amazing. And I think this is what we're doing, is we're setting our future up so that our children do want to stay here. They want to raise their families here just as we have raised them. So I'm very grateful.
Awesome.
And Mayor, back to you.
Thank you very much. Hey, can we give it up one more time for our city council? It takes so much to make a city work, and as you just saw, there's always a lot going on, and so we're looking forward to what comes ahead and what we've been up to. And just as a side note, you saw Councilor Vivella, she had the pink helmet, and when she was getting ready to go, she sent me a picture of it, and I said, is there any chance I can get a helmet like that? And she just gave me a simple answer. She said, no. So I didn't get one. So I got the small coat. Well, you've heard a lot tonight about the work happening in the city, from infrastructure and public safety to our community engagement efforts and the planning required to guide our growth responsibly. Each presentation from our council tells part of the story of where Ridgefield is today and where we're headed. But if you zoom out, they all point to something larger. This community is not standing still. Ridgefield is growing. It's investing in itself and already shaping the next chapter of who we are. And we spend time in public service, you start to kind of see things. Mr. Stewart calls it seeing the matrix, but you begin to know something about cities in general. And that's that they're never really finished. A city isn't like a building which you build once, and once it's constructed, you just simply maintain it. It's more like a living, breathing thing. It grows, it adapts, and it changes as the people who live there change. Every generation of inhabitants of a city leave its mark. Some generations build foundations, and occasionally another generation finds itself standing at a moment where it must decide what does the next chapter look like? Well, I believe that we are standing in one of those moments right now. And when communities reach a crossroads like this, there's often one place where the future becomes the most visible first. Downtown. Not just a district on a map, but a place where the identity of a city lives. The storefronts, the sidewalks, the gathering places, the place where a story of a community unfolds in real time. So for much of its early history, Ridgefield was a mill town. Many of you guys know this. Several mills operated along the waterfront, providing jobs that brought many of the first families here. Around them, the earliest roots of community began to take shape. And as those families settled and the town grew, life naturally gathered a few blocks inland. Over time, those streets became the front porch of the town itself. For decades, the wood treatment mill carried with it that legacy forward. Generations depended on it. The rhythm of the town followed the rhythm of the mills. And when the last mill shuttered in 1993, Ridgefield felt that change. The town had to adapt. It had to find new footing and begin to find itself in different ways. The Ridgefield of today is definitely not the Ridgefield of a generation ago. Our population has more than tripled. New families have arrived. And yet, when you walk through our downtown, something interesting happens. Despite all of the growth around us, you can still feel it, that same small town spirit that built this community in the first place. People will describe it in different ways. You'll hear them describe it as quaint, charming, maybe even Mayberry. Kind of like Mayberry. That's fun. And in the past year alone, 20 new businesses have opened downtown alone. More than 40 community events have taken place there, bringing thousands of people together right in the heart of our city. Those numbers represent something deeper than data. They represent a community that has decided that the center of the city is worth caring about. And that invites an important question. Do we want a downtown that simply keeps up with the growth around it? Or do we want a downtown that helps define the character of an entire city? So the answer to that question tonight has a name. You see, the last time that Ridgefield adopted a downtown and waterfront sub-area plan was about a decade ago. And since then, most of the projects identified in that plan have been completed, and our city has changed dramatically. And that realization led us to begin thinking about downtown in a more deliberate way. So tonight, I'm excited to introduce to you a new city initiative we are calling RISE. RISE stands for Revitalize, Invest, Sustain, and Enhance. In practical terms, it means better city streets and sidewalks. It means improved lighting and accessibility and increased parking and traffic circulation, preserving the historic character that makes this place feel like itself while creating room for the next generation of residents, businesses, and ideas. And I want you to take a moment tonight, if we could. Could you imagine something with me? You turn onto Main Avenue on a warm evening. The sidewalks, they're full and alive with people enjoying where they are. The lights put off a warm, energetic glow. The trees soften the edges of the streets. And in the distance, you can even hear live music coming from one of our local venues. The whole place feels like a town that knows exactly who it is. You might wander down an alleyway that once sat mostly unnoticed and unused between buildings, and now it has been reimagined with a pedestrian passage, string lights overhead, a cafe table next to a brick wall, murals telling a piece of Ridgefield's story. If it's one of those places that people discover and keep coming back to again and again and again. And maybe Main Avenue itself begins to change character. On most days, it moves traffic like any small town street should, but when the moment calls, a festival, a market, a concert, it transforms into a gathering place where neighbors meet, where kids run ahead of their parents, where local businesses spill out onto the sidewalks, and it still feels unmistakably like the Ridgefield that you have always known, just a little more vibrant and ready for the future that is already arriving. Now, before I say more, about where we're going, I want to show you where we've been and where we're headed. So if you could with me, just take a moment and let's watch this video.
There's something special about a downtown. Long before Ridgefield became the city we know today, this is where it began. These streets carried the first businesses, the first conversations, the first sense of community. It's always been a place where neighbors meet and where commerce happens. Downtown is where daily life unfolded, one storefront at a time. And even today, as our city has experienced remarkable growth, that same spirit still lives here. And our downtown core is the center of it all. Walk through downtown now and you can feel it. There's a renewed energy. New people have come with new ideas. New storefronts are opening their doors. Families gathering for community events. And the people shaping this next chapter of downtown are the ones you see here every day. The entrepreneurs and artists helping bring new life to these streets.
Ridgefield's growing really quickly, and we want to keep like the historic heritage and culture of what Ridgefield's always been down here. You know, pull people past the In-N-Out Burger, come see what we're all about down like near the refuge and everything. So having the art gallery, I think, is just going to be a really good anchor point in not just the art gallery, but all these businesses sitting in this really historic building down here that are all Ridgefield based. We're watching it all change so fast already, and it's just going to continue to snowball.
Downtown is a gem. It's special. We need the services up at the junction. We need those. We need, Lord knows we needed a grocery store, and we need the things that we have in a Costco, and all those are really cool, and we love those, and they're important to our community. But preserving the downtown so that we can have the culture and the moms with their strollers and the families with their dogs and walking around and, you know, the community.
In the past year alone, 20 new businesses have chosen to call downtown home. More than 40 community events have taken place right here in the heart of our city. Thousands of people gathering, celebrating, and invested in their community in a way that makes Ridgefield unique. But this kind of momentum happens because a community chooses to invest in the places that matter most. We've made meaningful investments over the past year in our streets and sidewalks, through community events, and getting key sites ready for future opportunities. Each project, each improvement, each new business adding another piece to the story that our downtown continues to tell. And yet, as exciting as this moment is, it also raises an important question. What kind of downtown do we want for the future? Because as stewards of our community, we need to evolve as our city grows. We have an opportunity to strengthen what makes this place special, to preserve its charm that made it great in the first place, to help local businesses thrive, to create a downtown that remains vibrant, welcoming, and uniquely Ridgefield for generations to come. The next chapter of downtown is already starting to take shape, and together, we have a chance to write it. Downtown has always been the heart of Ridgefield, and a story is still being written. The next chapter begins now.
And of course, what you just saw is not a complete story. We know that we're still writing it, but here's what I've come to believe. The places that endure, the ones that people love and they fight for and refuse to let go of, they are never built just on brick and mortar alone. They are built on something harder to see and even harder to engineer. They're built on belonging. A downtown can have the best streetscape money can buy, the perfect lighting, beautiful trees, native plants, award-winning design, and it can still feel hollow if people don't actually feel welcome here. Belonging doesn't come from a plan, it comes from a decision a community makes about who it is, who is included, whose story gets told on the walls of that alley mural, whose voice shapes what gets built. So when we talk about revitalizing downtown Ridgefield, we're not just talking about infrastructure, we're talking about the kind of community that we intend to be. One where people are welcomed not because they're the same, but because this community is better for every voice that it makes room for. and when every person who walks on those sidewalks feels like they belong on them. One where justice isn't just a side conversation, but it's our foundation. That is a Ridgefield that I am committed to building, and it is one that I believe that most of you are hoping for as well. One of those moments of renewal came recently in a building that many of you all know very, very well. For more than a century, the old hardware store sat on the corner of Pioneer and Main. The business dated back to 1914, and under its final ownership by the Hughes family, it served faithfully for 40 years. For generations of residents, it was simply a part of our everyday life. And I know that I mourned when it closed, and many of you did too, because you told me about it. But what happens next says everything about the kind of place that this is. New people stepped up with new ideas and a willingness to invest in our shared future. Ridgefield Floral moved in along with shops like Toys on Main and the Sputter Store. And in January, a longtime dream of our art association was finally realized with the opening of an art gallery that now brings creativity and color into the heart of our city. The anchor of one generation has become the canvas for the next. So for Rise to succeed, it won't be because we write it in a plan from City Hall. It will succeed because this community decides that the heart of Ridgefield is worth investing in. That has always been the secret behind great downtowns. They're not built on local governments alone. They're built by entrepreneurs who take risks, by residents who give a damn about their community. And that kind of renewal doesn't happen by accident. It happens because people make a choice to do the work that doesn't make headlines, but does make everything else possible. We have partners like Ridgefield Main Street, who are proof of that. In fact, last year alone, Main Street contributed more than 1,200 volunteer hours dedicated to improving our city. And over the last decade, they've helped leverage $2 million in private investment for downtown alone. And through the Main Street MULA program, they put $30,000 directly back into the hands of small business owners who are betting on downtown's future. That's ownership, pure and simple. And the city has matched that. The city has been building on that belief too. We've invested $27,000 in sidewalk improvements and $39,000 in stormwater improvements for the corner of Hall and Elm. And $2 million last year went to the Park Laundry remediation project, turning a site on the edge of downtown's past as a starting line to its future. Each of these investments says the same thing. Downtown Ridgefield is worth it. That conviction is what the RISE initiative is built on. So tonight, we recognize the recipients of our Make a Difference Awards, people who saw a need and chose to act. We heard from members of our city council about infrastructure, about engagement, smart growth, and public safety. And those are presentations that are largely about policy, but underneath every single one of them is the deeper truth. Cities are built with plans and budgets, sure, but communities are built by the people who inhabit them, by volunteers who give their time, by business owners who invest in their livelihoods, by families who choose to raise children in a place that they believe in, because this town shows up, not just when it's easy, not just when it's celebrated, but when it matters most. The hardware story is proof of that. The 40 community events last year alone are proof of that. The 24 applicants who applied for our first ever youth commission, eager, idealistic, and absolutely convinced that the future is worth it, is proof of that. So as we begin the next work over the coming year of the RISE initiative, as we continue shaping what the city becomes next, I will leave you with this. The greatest asset Ridgefield has is the people in this room, and the thousands more who care about this place the same way that you and I do. Ridgefield's story is far from finished. In many ways, it's just getting started. It's just getting started. And I cannot wait to see what we build next together. So thank you for your partnership. Thank you for joining and contributing to who we are as a community. And we look forward to working together in the coming weeks and the coming years. Thank you very much. God bless you. Good night.